All right, so welcome back to our little show about behavior. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about some other stuff. And it's still effing cold outside, folks, and I got smarter. I modified my behavior to avoid getting really cold. I put a hat on and I have some real gloves on this time that keep me warm. I'll probably change these when I have to engage in shop safety behaviors, but I don't have to do that now. So anyway, we're going to talk today about some different pieces of behavior and then how you start putting that together. Right? So we're going to talk about the dimensions of behavior. Don't worry, it sounds technical, but it's really easy. We're going to talk about baselining, which is how we're going to make a comparison. We're going to figure out where things are now, right? And then we're going to go, let's try to change it. And then we're going to compare the results of trying to change it to where we were now. Okay, so our baseline is really our key. We're going to work with that pretty much always. What else did I have to say? Oh, how to measure stuff, right? And I don't mean, I don't mean with a tape. I mean how to measure, that is, I suppose, how to measure something, 9 5/16. Excellent. So, and you thought I can't read a tape. Just because I'm not going to mention that. Just because I have certain letters after my name doesn't mean I don't know how to use one of these damn things. Anyway, so then we're going to get a whole bunch of data from those measurements. We're going to talk about how to interpret that data, and then again, like I said, we're going to talk about the dimensions of behavior, which is what gives you, which is what leads you to measurement, which is what leads you to the data, which is what leads you to interpretation, which is what leads you to comparing to baseline. You see how this is going? Is this? Wait a minute! Don't get me wrong here. Hold on, cameraman. Can you follow me for a second? I got a stack of books over here. Oh, there we go. Oh yes, that's a good one. Woodworker's Journal. Is this starting to sound like plans? Is that what this is starting to sound like? This is the way it should look. This is what you need to do it. These are the measurements you need to make. These are the cuts, the behaviors you need to do. And the outcome? Let's see. It should look like that. If I'm building that bench, the end result is if I follow the procedures, the instructions, if I follow the treatment plan, the behavioral plan that you're trying to change behavior, we call those treatment plans, but don't worry about that. If I follow the plans properly, I'll end up with that. But in order to do all that, I need to make a bunch of measurements. Now this is pretty easy. I could look at that and build it, and you could too, but there's some mortising in there though. That might be a little challenging. Maybe a little tenoning here and there. Ooh, breadboard ends. Shh, don't tell anybody. All right, this is old. I don't even, March, April 1987. This is vintage, baby. I was 11. Okay, wow. Actually, I have all of my uncle's old woodworking books over there, which is what that big stack was. I've saved them forever. They're in great shape, and it's really kind of
woodworking books, right?
Fap. What do you... That's what I use them for, right? My cameraman knows me better than I know myself. What do you know? Wow, cool. It's porn. There we go. Wood porn. Porn for wood. You get wood? Never mind. So... Let's first, wow, what do we want to do first? So anyway, the behavior plan is what you do. You put it together, right? And you end up with a project. That project is behavior. Weight loss, learning to work on wood, making better coffee. I don't care what it is, right? Being a nicer husband, being a better father, right? How about being a better community member? How about building up the people around you? How about let's just make good neighbors? These are good goals, but in order to achieve these goals, we need to list the behaviors that we're going to do. We need to define them. You've already learned how to do that. Then we need to start tracking them and seeing if we're going to increase and decrease. Sometimes that's really easy. Yep, I said hi to all my neighbors. I didn't have to write anything down. I went and said hi to all my neighbors. But there could be other things too. So we get really detailed with something. So we're going to go through some of the detail. We're going to be a little bit over the top as usual. But that's the way I hear it, Psychor. But we're having some fun in the shop, so we'll continue to do the shop behaviors and show you all this stuff. So the first things first, let's talk about the dimensions of behavior. Because we need to know the different dimensions of behavior in order for us to come up with something to measure. And then when we measure it, then we'll get into all the other stuff. So here we go. First things first, I want to tackle... Give me a second. I have to go that way. All right. I want to tackle magnitude, but I want to be functional at the same time. Right? Because I like shit done. So, in case you didn't believe me how cold it is out here, I'm using snow to wet my stone. No comment. All right.
You didn't say polish. We're good.
I'm not polished. If it was a stone that I... Thanks for the compliment. Anyway, don't worry about the fact that I got my table all wet here with the snow. because this table needs some work with a scraper, so I'm not too worried about it. Anyway, so
Oh, planers rust. It's fine.
thank you. All right, so folks, remember in the last video I was complaining about my planer being not so clean, and there was some rust on it. Well, so we can fix that. Okay, so it's called restoring this stuff, and you'll notice that there's a bunch of surface rust on here. So I'm just going to take care of that surface rust. Okay, now I want you to see something here. You don't really know what I'm doing, right? I'm just kind of scraping it. Okay, well, how hard I press is an important feature here. So I'm trying to scrape the surface rust off the metal. So if I push really hard, right, I'm going to end up with a bunch of streaks. If I push not hard enough like this, it's not going to do anything, right? So magnitude, it's one of the dimensions of behavior. How much intensity, how much force are you using? If I get really loud, I have more magnitude. If I go really, really soft, I have just a little bit of magnitude. It's not very strong. Okay, so same sort of thing with this, all right? So I'm scraping back and forth on my 800 or 600, whatever it is here. Let's see how it looks. We're getting there. You can see it's kind of polishing up a little bit. I got a little bit of rust right there still. No big deal. We'll just go ahead and take care of that. We'll put some pressure down, use some magnitude here, increase the magnitude a little bit, make sure it's all square. Now, for those of you that are wondering why the hell I'm doing all this, is because I really do need to clean this tool up, and I'll put some oil on it when I'm done so it doesn't rust up for the rest of the winter here. All right. Oh, look at that. She's looking beaut. Okay. Starting to get there. I got a little more work to do up there. I'm not going to do all this today because it takes time, but remember that bottom spot? It was nasty, so we're going to do the same thing. So now this is interesting because I have to put pressure in two spots. Now imagine if I was trying to teach somebody that. All right? I can't teach magnitude. You can't see how much force I'm putting down. Okay? I'm not even doing it right. I shouldn't be moving my arms, but you know, for the camera, I don't want to be moving that much. It makes people sick. All right? So I can't really teach you how much too much magnitude. Tore the ends of the paper off. So if I can't teach you too much magnitude with my words, you'd have to feel this, right? And you can start to see if it's been cleaned up. Remember that rust that you saw in there earlier? Take a look now. It's almost gone. Okay, remember I had that big batch right there, okay, from the last video? It's almost gone. There's some back here. I'm noticing that this isn't perfectly flat. I got a low spot back here. So I'm going to stop right now because that's going to take a lot more work and that's going to drive me freaking insane until I get that fixed. This thing, when I'm done with it, that thing will be perfectly flat on that, just by using that stone. Really what's going on is my paper's shot already. I probably should have used about 800 because it almost polishes, for crying out loud. So I'll go back and try a different paper and get this thing cleaned up in another video, maybe if we have reason to do it. Anyway, that one looks good. So we'll leave that alone for now. So magnitude, how hard something is. So let's do, what else can we do for magnitude? How hard you press on something, right? Or how fast you go even. As fast, does that count? Let me see if I have that written down as an example here. Bear with me, folks. Sometimes it's good to reference things. That way you just get it right. Oh yeah, we could go speed-wise, right? So let's set that up. That wasn't that fucking handy. All right.